Hello everyone, welcome to this new episode of GaN Wine Lounge. And today we got the honor to have our special guest, Ray Ridley, consultant, CEO of Ridley Engineering. Hi Ray, welcome aboard. How are you?
Hey, thanks, Maurizio. Glad to be here.
Yeah, good to see you. Thanks a lot for being here. So let's start. Ray, I have a couple of questions to share with you. We will talk about GaN, EPC, and so on. So for those who may not know you well yet, so tell us more about you. Could you briefly introduce yourself, your background? How did you get started in power electronics?
Yeah, I got started in power electronics sort of by accident, as many people did. When I was in my senior year of college,
Mhm.
I took on a power converter design project. Turns out many years later, I realized I was building an LLC back in 1981, so that's quite early for doing one of those. And I just spent a lot of time winding transformers and switching and blowing things
Good.
up and dealing with high voltage, and that's it. Once you've built a power supply, you're in the industry.
Very nice, very nice. So you have seen several technology waves in this wonderful topic, power electronics. So what was your first reaction when GaN devices started entering the market? So what has been your hands-on experience with GaN so far in terms of design, in terms of evaluation, customer projects?
Well, let's back up a little bit to the waves I've seen. So when I started in power electronics for my first company job,
Yeah.
we were just transitioning from bipolars to MOSFETs. So in that day, the papers, that were popular were had to do a proportional base drive for the
Yeah.
transistors, had to do a reverse bias, sucking current out of the gates the base. I can't even remember the name anymore. So my first design was with MOSFETs. So I experienced that transition from bipolar to MOSFET, and it was just one huge relief to just apply a voltage and turn the thing on, and all that complicated base drive stuff just went away. So that was, a bit analogous to what's going on now from MOSFET to GaN. But even though it was a big relief to be driving MOSFETs with voltages, they weren't that easy to drive. They needed a lot of current. So you had to have some very high power drivers, which most of the control chips, didn't really have. So we had to often build our own drivers for that. So we've had 30 years of MOSFET development, getting better and better as they went through, and they went to higher frequencies than people realize. And then now here we are with GaN, and the big deal really is the drive, as much as the smaller parts and the lower resistance, but just the ease of driving them is the big deal for us.
So talking about GaN, low voltage GaN and EPC. So EPC is strongly focused on low voltage GaN. So how do you see this market? How do you see this market evolving also over the next year? Which application do you think that will drive volume adoption first? Let's think about automotive, robotics, humanoid, AI, and so on.
Yeah. Trying to predict the semiconductor market is not easy, as you know. Well, obviously, space power is the first adopter of this stuff because they've stopped making good FETs for space. So when GaN come in, then naturally, radiation immune, they just adopted it wholeheartedly. And then the commercial fields are going a little slower because it's just new technology to assimilate into their production process. So they're being careful with that. But, we're seeing it creeping in, which is good. Yeah, if you're working with 48 volts on your input bus, it's a natural candidate. So it will be a gradual process. It's not going to burst on the scenes like MOSFETs did, because there are more complications in process for you to mount those chips and to work with those chips that people need to learn, and they're a little wary of that. But yeah, it's not going to be fast, but it will just march on in, just keep on coming in.
So do you believe the industry is doing enough to educate designers, engineers, I mean, about GaN? Should we move forward a lot in terms of courses, in terms of master classes, university program, hands-on training to accelerate the adoption of GaN?
I think they've done so much, especially EPC, that there's not much more they can do. I mean, people just need to get their hands dirty and try it. They've just got to start using it. We don't need more theory. We don't need more equations. You know, people just have to learn how to work with it and how not to blow it up and how to mount it properly and how to change their board layout techniques to be able to use it properly. But you know, we do our own training. We use GaN in our workshop. We don't get involved with the board with the GaN is on, but people just, you know, it's a transparent switch. They don't worry about the switch anymore, which is the best you can do. Is like being a referee in a football game, right? Is nobody knows that you're there, and then you've achieved your goal. You know.
Have you seen any recent EPC products that got your attention from a design point of view, design engineer's point of view?
Oh yeah, well, what everybody wants is the gate drive isn't a slam dunk issue that was suddenly easy because the gates are much more twitchy than they were with MOSFETs. So the old school designers are used to having 20, 30 volt gate thresholds, and they can do anything they like to that gate and they won't destroy the part. The new ones are much tighter tolerance on the drives. So that takes some getting used to. So the ones that catch my attention is what EPC is doing really, really well. I hope they do a lot more of this, is just put the driver in with the FET. Solve the problem. And then all we do is send it a digital signal and the world will be happy. So the more they do that, and I have some of their parts ready to try out on those where the driver is built into the half bridge circuit. So I'm sure they plan. They're getting this feedback from a lot of people. I know that they don't know how to lay out that gate drive and to get it tight enough and to not blow up the gate. So the more they build that into the FET, the more acceptance it's going to have, the easier it's going to be to use it. And then on our course boards, I mean, the real thing we've noticed there is the amount of power to drive the gates is absurdly low. You know, more than 10 times less than the equivalent FET. And that is quite shocking when you first measure that power into there. It's like, oh my God, this is incredible to get that low and on resistance for that little gate power. It's just really a game changer for everybody.
Any devices, are there EPC devices that you could imagine using in one of the next next real customer projects, your customer
Well,
projects?
that's never our call. We don't do manufacturing production of power supplies. You know, that's a lost market mostly to the US. But if our customers are ready to use GaN, we're ready to help them. So they keep quiet about that because, you know, they don't tend to do it on a new project. They'll do it on a skunkworks project that isn't in, you know, the firing line of production speed. But yeah, we're ready to work with them when they want that.
So in terms of so we have GaN, MOSFET. So what still makes designers hesitate the most when moving, so switching, I mean, from silicon MOSFET to GaN, from your perspective?
Well, it's the spacings on the mounting pads. They violate everything we know about safe design. They don't have the creepage and clearance that we're used to seeing between pads. So, you know, nobody liked the TO220 package because that didn't meet the specs either, but people worked around that. And now GaN has just taken that down to these incredible separations that, you know, you have to learn to do underfill under the chip. You have to make sure it's not going to break down. You have to make sure you mount it properly. These are really, really tiny parts. I mean, we've used some of their 0.7 millimeters by 0.7 millimeter parts, and they're interesting to mount onto a board, to say the least. You know, so it really is about the mechanical structure and the gate drive. That's the thing that's, you know, people will try it, they'll do it wrong, things fail, so they go back to the older rugged parts that don't give the same performance, but they can move quickly with that.
So in conclusion, Ray, I have two questions. So one, if you look 5 years ahead, forward, so where do you think the GaN will so definitely have displaced silicon?
You probably have more data than me on that. I think if you took a straight line from 2 years ago to today and project it as a straight line, I think it will be a steady. It's not going to be a quantum league, the hockey stick shape, whatever, where suddenly everyone uses it. It's just going to be gradual. Our industry is very conservative, you know, so change is slow in adopting that. So I think a linear progression.
Okay. And if a young engineer would ask you today, so should I learn, should I specialize in GaN? So a question, I mean, what would be your advice? Yes, for sure, you have to, probably.
Specialize in working in GaN or in using GaN?
Both.
Well, I don't know if I'd recommend anybody to go into the semiconductor industry, so that's a different thing. I think Alex will tell you what a hard slug it is, because you invest so much money and then you're basically selling sand at the end of it. You know, they expect a very low price. But in terms of using it, yeah, absolutely. Every engineer should be getting test boards. They should be working with the GaN. They should be working on soldering it. They should be working on the process immediately. I mean, they'll have to be ready for it, because it's just going to come in until suddenly, you know, using MOSFETs just drops down. Won't be there anymore. So yeah, absolutely learn it, but learn it hands-on. Get in the lab and solder a few GaN parts. You'll learn the hard way what the problems are and what the issues are. You learn you have to build your own heat sinks for it, because they don't put the heat sinks on the die anymore. So it's a whole new world of cooling the packages.
Thank you, Ray. Thanks a lot. It's been a
You're
pleasure
welcome.
talking with you, and thanks for joining us at the GaN Wine Lounge.
Okay, thanks so much. Take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Have a good day. Bye.